Well, first of all, it's a lot more diverse. I think of the uh, of the 36 kids in my middle school grade, 35 of them or 34 of them were either white or Asian, and it's a lot larger going from a class of 36 to a class of over 200. Personally, I like that difference, and I think just the difference in backgrounds is like very different than from my middle school, where everyone was very similar, came from a very similar place, and now it's one of the things I like about Payton the most actually is that it's like you have all walks of life here. Pretty much like the whole city of Chicago is represented through the students at Payton.
Payton is a lot more inclusive than my old school. My old school, like, a lot of people would say offensive things and just assume that it would be, like, it was a joke. Even though they said it as a joke, it was like really hurtful. Whereas Payton, that wouldn't like fly as much. So if someone says an offensive joke, they get called out.
So I attended predominantly minority school. There were definitely more black and brown students than there were white students. In terms of the differences between Payton and my elementary school, I think definitely there's more competition in terms of like grades and standardized testing and stuff like that. I also feel like there are a lot more like things that tend to go unnoticed in Payton in terms of addressing issues of racism with students of color. But like, yeah, I mean, overall, like Payton is just a more competitive environment and a little less diverse, I would say.
So I came from a very academically pressuring kind of middle school, or like grade school, I guess, where emphasis was put on like grades and test scores. I'd say more than here. So I'd say like one major shift that I saw from my elementary school experience to my high school experience is that it was suddenly more okay to not get like perfect grades and perfect test scores. So yeah, I would say that was one difference. I also think that it's more of a socially diverse kind of group because, as most grade schools will be, my grade school was pretty homogenous, I'd say, in terms of population. And I think there's like this, I'd say Payton's pretty homogenous in a way too, but I think it's more diverse than my grade school for sure.
Freshman year I was a lot more reserved and quiet, and I think I still am quiet to a certain extent, but I'm also more willing to share my opinions and my thoughts when it comes to anything really, but I still am sort of reserved.
I think that I'm a lot less mean and I know how to make more friends now. Like I have to say that I'm more emotionally like adaptable, so I can like adapt to different situations depending on people. So I'm just like not stagnant. So I think I'm different in that way.
I would say the most I've changed probably would be just being more politically correct. I think freshman year I was kind of ignorant, and people here don't really put up with that kind of stuff, so I definitely had to make some changes and have been more just politically correct in general.
I became more outgoing, and I like associate with a lot more like different groups of people than I would have freshman year.
I came to Payton with a couple people from my elementary school, and I came with one of my best friends, and we've been friends since 3rd grade, so like I've always had that support. But in terms of Payton, I met one of my other best friends freshman year as well, and we became friends because we met at Freshman Connection, and we just kind of like just vibe. It's just like that.
I feel like I've built a lot of good friendships at Payton. I don't know if I could name one specific best friendship, but I think most of my really important and formative friendships have come from like a combination of like classes and extracurriculars, and just like meeting people through those and just finding common interests between different people, I would say.
I think the best friendship I ever had, or I do still have, is with Nino McGowan. He's my friend that's on soccer. And at first I started like I hated him because we were just competing so much between each other. but I just came to just love the guy because he just makes me a better person every single day, just like forcing me to become better. It's always like this mini competition to do better.
I would say that the best friendship I've had at Payton is right here. It started because of an enrichment in ultimate frisbee, and no one was there, and I think she was the only person in there that looked approachable. So I started talking to her, and I was like, why not? So I mean, yeah, and now we're on the softball team together, so that's fun.
It's probably with one of my friends from cross country. We met over the summer at cross country practices, and from then on, we've always been really good friends.
I like the smaller community and the more individualized attention you can get from the teachers because of this.
I think it's the opportunity to try new things and to be a part of new activities, experiences, new clubs, sports, or any sort of extracurricular activity.
I think it's also cool that there are people from like all over the city. So yeah, I just hear about a lot of different experiences.
Kind of feel like I'm able to have more influence as an individual than I might be able to elsewhere. Like if there's something I want to pursue in Payton, teachers will often help me with the resources I need to like pursue that project or whatever.
About Payton.
I guess just how inclusive it is. Like because I came to Payton, I was able to come out, and that's something that's really important to me. So.
At lunch, like a lot of like similar groups of people sometimes stay together. So I think that's one of the things that needs to be changed possibly is just more people like getting to know others, and instead of staying with people that they're comfortable with, you know.
I really don't know. There's not that much to not like, honestly. I think that I don't know. School lunches maybe those kind of suck. I have to pack my own lunch every day, but school lunches at my middle school also sucks. It's not that big of a difference for me.
There's no like real transparency between admin and like the students. So whenever admin sends out an email, it's always like super like they beat around the bush and they don't really like get to the point, or we don't really understand why they're saying what they're saying.
Sometimes certain opinions are immediately maybe downplayed or dismissed. I think for the most part, Payton's very accepting and an open community, but certain opinions, specifically conservative opinions, are very frowned upon maybe.
Don't doubt your worth. I know, like, I've talked to a lot of people about imposter syndrome, especially when coming to an environment as competitive and like strenuous as Payton. And I think in terms of like just know that you belong here, know that you earned your spot in the school, whether that's through your scores or through principal discretion or whatever. Like, know that like you are valid and you belong here and you deserve the same education as everyone else. And even though at sometimes it may feel like you're an outcast or you don't feel like you belong, like you definitely do. Your educational experience is valid, and like you're gonna fit in. You're gonna be fine.
I would just say be open-minded. I think that a lot of times people just want to come in, keep their heads down and do work, but I think Payton offers a lot of good opportunities outside of that work, and I think they should try and take advantage of those opportunities.
Aggregating in different groups, because you'll soon come to realize like that group of friends you used to hang out with your freshman year won't be your friends your senior year, you know? It's often those people that you don't even realize that are there that often end up being your best friends.
I would say just be yourself. I mean, there's not a lot of pressure to not be yourself, but it can be easy to kind of lose track of who you are when you're around so many people, so many different people. So just stay true to who you know you are, and you'll have a good 4 years. Yeah.
don't be afraid to try new things, because like I came here not doing like anything, and now I've been in a musical, I've been on a sports team, I've been in a club, I've started my own enrichment. So like just get yourself out there. Like if you're a shy person, I would just advise you to like try new things.
Open mind, because there's a lot of like different viewpoints that you may not have been exposed to going to a neighborhood school where everyone is more homogenous than at Payton, which is pretty diverse. So just be ready to see a lot of different viewpoints and angles that you haven't seen before.